At this point, there's no denying the cellular and metabolic potential that good circadian aligned eating brings to the longevity table. But we have yet to enter our cranial cabinets to see if there is any cognitive upside to this strategy. Because come on, we're all gonna lose our keys, glasses, headphones, sanity at one point or another, right? That is, unless we can prolong our 5-pound mushy membrane function somehow, some way. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftinbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic way. Today, we are exploring how strategic meal timing may be able to help return or prolong our cognitive edge and the potential mechanisms in which it works its Jimmy Neutron brain blast magic. And we'll do this by sprinkling in the supporting, unsupporting, and undecided data to help your 5-pound mushy membrane reach its own opinion on the matter. Low-key under the radar, making some of your neuronal circuitry do some work, and thus helping it stay even sharper. See what I did there? No need to thank me. I'm just doing my job with memes. Getting back on track, when it comes to your daily feel, mood, cognition, and physical function, all data points to you, yes, you, being in more control than you think. Because all of these daily states happen to be dictated by daily habits compounded over time. Meaning at any point, you can hop back in the driver's seat of your most valuable asset and implement meaningful change that gets it feeling like it always could. I mean, damn, empowering much? And what better benefits of meaningful change are there to explore than the ones that keep your 5-pound mushy membrane, which tends to decline in capacity and function as we age, sharp, slick, and sarcastic to the very end? Something that circadian eating may just be a tool to do. So, what exactly is it? Well, it's the concept of aligning our daily eating habits with the way we've evolved to eat, in accordance with the innate evolutionary rhythms which govern our internal body clock, aka our circadian rhythms, or natural sleep-wake cycles which ebb and flow with the day-night cycles of the sun. This circadian eating hypothesis has very simple principles. Consume energy when you are in the best bodily position to digest and metabolize it during the day. And throughout the night, enjoy a nice prolonged fast until the ceremonial breaking of the fast the next day. Where else did you think the word breakfast came from? And interestingly, the data on this new frontier is quite promising, as circadian science and fasting science have displayed that energy consumption happens to be an important body clock modulator, influencing genetic expression and bodily processes in a context-dependent way, heavily influenced by what time of day or night it is, showing when these internal clocks get disrupted, commonly seen when staying up into the wee hours of the night and continuously consuming energy, our cellular and metabolic state becomes disrupted, and eventually in a disease-promoting way. Yeah, not cool. I know. However, these are effects that consistent meal timing has shown the potential to alleviate, as research suggests that breaking one's energy consumption into predefined feeding windows, ideally 10 hours or less during normal waking hours, is a potent prescription to help keep our circadian rhythms aligned. And in doing so, getting the best of all worlds. Optimize digestion and metabolism while enhancing rest, upregulating more restorative, regenerating, and protective pathways during sleep. Thus, why we say meal timing has power. However, that being said, circadian eating's impact on cognitive function has been a little bit of a black box, with no real solid data which looks at both the effects of circadian alignment and a properly aligned fasting strategy on cognitive function across a broad population. I mean, is that too much to ask for? Come on. There was one well-done 3-year study which looked into intermittent fasting's effects across 3 groups of older adults who either regularly practiced it, irregularly practiced it, or didn't practice it at all. finding that 25% of the mild cognitively impaired subjects in the regular fasting group reverted to successful aging with no cognitive impairment or disease, compared to 14% and 3% in the other groups. In this study, the fasting group exhibited significant improvements in inflammation levels, activity, body weight, insulin, fasting blood glucose, C-reactive protein, and DNA damage, while also seeing more activity in several metabolic pathways, which are associated with improved cognitive function. Pretty cool, right? But then there are systemic reviews which look at a vast body of both animal and human data, suggesting that intermittent fasting seems supportive for brain health and sustaining cognitive function into old age, but conclusive data was lacking. This is the reality and beauty of science. The search for answers always continues. Like, what would happen if a strategic circadian eating strategy was deployed in people with mild cognitive impairment? Like I said before, there is very little data which actually combines and looks at the two. That is, until now. Researchers out of Arizona State University sought to seek out this very answer. Could a combo of intermittent fasting and circadian-aligned meal timing improve cognitive performance in older adults with self-reported cognitive impairment? To test this, they placed older individuals on a 14-10 protocol, meaning 14 hours of fasting and 10 hours of feeding each day for 8 weeks with prolonged overnight fasting. Sounds familiar, huh? They tested cognitive function before and after the intervention with a standardized MAPS assessment of memory and attention, finding a significant increase of scores on the neurocognitive screening in participants post-intervention, with a medium effect size, suggesting that prolonged nightly fasting, a strategy targeted to align one's eating with their natural circadian rhythms, may significantly improve cognitive function in older adults with self-reported memory decline. Makes you think. And the most important part of all of this may be the 90% compliance rate, meaning almost all of the participants were able to carry out and sustain the intervention, with pretty interesting results after only 8 weeks. Now, important to remember that this was a small pilot study and not a randomized controlled trial, which has a control arm to help tease out both efficacy and causation. But it's nonetheless another piece of interesting data to not only stack on the evidence of strategic meal timing, but circadian alignment as well. A stack which has had me personally eating this way for the better half of a decade. Now, with that, the question still remains. What are the potential mechanisms and pathways at play when it comes to triggering this increase in brain blast potential? Well, in reality, there are probably a lot of interwoven, interdependent factors involved, all culminating with a biochemical and physiological state which allows neurons and their supporting cast to operate more efficiently, resulting in the regaining or rediscovery of cognitive capabilities. As we saw in some of the aforementioned research, intermittent fasting can modulate inflammation levels, which have been associated with conditions such as brain fog, memory loss, anxiety, and depression, while circadian disalignment increases common brain-impairing conditions such as high blood pressure and diabetes. There's also the enhanced sleep quality which both fasting and good circadian alignment bring to the table, setting the stage as we cover all throughout the How to Sleep playlist for our nightly brainwash. But what's a nightly brainwash? I'm so glad you asked. This is a super cool, recently discovered system called the glymphatic system, which gets upregulated particularly during deep, slow-wave sleep. Essentially, it's where cerebral spinal fluid gets squirted up into the brain and washes away neurotoxic waste that has accumulated during the day. Metabolic waste that is a byproduct of being open for biological business, which also, when not properly disposed of, drives neuroinflammation and potential degeneration over time. Yeah, talk about a cognitive buzzkill. And guess what 2 habits have been shown to impair the function of this nightly brainwash system? Staying up into the wee hours of the night, aka circadian disalignment, and large late night meals before bed. What else we got? Moving on, research has also shown that an uptick in ketone bodies, which are an energy substrate derived from fat and naturally upregulated during fasting, can be a brain booster as well. These ketone bodies have shown to positively impact cognitive function via neuroprotective properties such as increasing ATP levels, reducing reactive oxygen species production, and promoting mitochondria function. And all you may need is a good overnight fast. All this is cool, but what about growing and expanding neuronal connections? Circadian fasting have any role in that? Well, it seems that both structured meal timing and circadian alignment have a role in increasing a neuronal growth factor called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of this as a fertilizer for your neurons, which a mix of animal and human research displays gets upregulated during periods of fasting, deep sleep, and direct exposure to the sun, all of which are hallmarks of circadian eating. And here's how it works. When BDNF is released, it flips the switch on a series of genes which stimulate the growth of neuronal pathways, while also strengthening existing ones you already have, priming the brain for thinking and learning. Finally, Jimmy Neutron's secrets revealed. This is a key growth factor for brain plasticity, or the creating of new connections within the brain, explaining why we can learn new things and pick up new skills all throughout life, and not just when we're a child, just like you're learning right now. Now, this factor is shown to gradually decline with age, a process which can be accelerated when combined with the many suboptimal habits of modern-day Western lifestyle, potentially resulting in higher levels of mental illness, obesity, and even paving the way for neurodegeneration. So building the sustainable habits to boost this growth factor will help you stay sharp into those golden years. Finally, the last potential mechanism that I want to call out is through our gut. Data has shown that our gut microbes, and specifically the health-promoting populations, follow and benefit from strong circadian alignment. Yeah, gut microbes have circadian rhythms too. But not only that, they respond positively to intermittent fasting as well. Yes, the same microbes which have their tentacles of wisdom in basically every single bodily function that we have, including how well we potentially think. One way, through their secretion of short-chain fatty acids which modulate inflammation levels in the brain. Makes me wonder, should it be called a microbe brain blast instead? As you can see, there are a lot of potential mechanisms at play, and this short list only scratches the surface. And if you forgot, we have full breakdowns on early eating and tactical tips to realign your circadian rhythms in the show notes below. But odds are, most of us will see the benefits from slowly and sustainably incorporating a 10-hour or less feeding window, aiming to close it 2 to 3 hours before bed, standardizing on good bed and wake times in alignment with the day-night cycles of that big flaming supernova in the sky, and giving the body a 8-hour sleep opportunity each and every night. It's simple, yet, as we know, really kinda hard in this 24/7 instant gratification, stress-induced go, go, go world. But remember, there's no better day to start or continue investing in your most valuable asset. And what you put in is what you get out, figuratively and literally. In other words, brain blasts don't just happen. You gotta make them happen. Sleep on that.